Not every smiling face is a friend. Some are threats wrapped in familiarity. And the most dangerous ones are never strangers. They are the people who know your history, your wounds, your softness, the ones who sit close enough to touch your life without resistance. There comes a moment in life when you realize something unsettling. The danger was never outside. It was already inside the room, not through loud betrayal, not through obvious cruelty, but through a slow, quiet erosion of your peace. You felt it before you understood it. That subtle tightening in your chest, the heaviness that appeared without explanation, the way your energy dropped the moment certain people entered your space. This isn't imagination, and it isn't weakness. It's awareness arriving late. Because spiritual harm doesn't announce itself. It blends in, it adapts, it waits until you trust it. Most people think danger looks aggressive, raised voices, clear hostility, obvious disrespect. But real damage comes from those who never raise their voice at all. They smile, they listen, they say the right things, and yet every time you leave them, you feel smaller than when you arrived. You try to rationalize it. You tell yourself you're overthinking. You make excuses on their behalf. They didn't mean it like that. They're just going through something. That's just how they are. But deep down, something inside you knows better. Because your mind may lie to keep the peace, but your nervous system does not. Your spirit does not. Some people don't need to insult you to damage you. They don't need to attack you to weaken you. They just need access. Access to your attention, your time, your empathy, your emotional labor. And once they have it, they drain quietly. These are the people who never pour into you, but always take. They come with problems, never solutions. Chaos, never clarity. Drama, never growth. You become their emotional landfill. They unload, feel lighter, and leave. And you're left carrying weight that was never yours. That exhaustion you feel isn't normal tiredness. It's not stress. It's not introversion. It's depletion. And depletion is a warning. There are people who feed on proximity. They don't grow. They consume. They don't support your evolution. They stabilize themselves by keeping you stagnant. They don't want to see you fail loudly. They want to see you fade slowly. This is how parasitic energy works, not with force, with familiarity. And the most unsettling part is this: many of them are not consciously evil. They don't wake up plotting harm. They simply operate from unresolved darkness, unhealed insecurity, suppressed envy, unprocessed resentment. And those things attach themselves to whoever is open. If you're empathetic, you're a target. If you listen deeply, you're a target. If you give without keeping score, you're a target. Because parasites don't attach to stone, they attach to warmth. This is why you must stop asking, am I being too sensitive? And start asking, why does my soul keep reacting this way? Discomfort is not random, it's data. Pay attention to how your body responds to people, not how polite they are, not how long you've known them, not the title they hold in your life. Pay attention to the aftermath. Do you feel clearer or more confused, lighter or heavier, grounded or unsettled? Energy never lies. Some people smile while silently competing with you. They listen while waiting to twist your words. They support you just enough to stay close, but never enough to see you surpass them. These are not misunderstandings. They are patterns. And patterns are the language of truth. Demons don't always come loud. They don't come with chaos at first. They come with calm. They come as family, as friends, as people who mean well. But if every interaction disconnects you from your peace, from your clarity, from your self-trust, then what you're dealing with is not just toxicity, it's sabotage. You don't need to confront them. You don't need to expose them. You don't need to win. You need to withdraw, because not everyone deserves access to your inner world, and not everyone who knows your name is meant to walk with you. Your peace is not negotiable. Your energy is not infinite, and your awareness is your first line of defense. The danger is rarely the people who hate you openly. It's the ones who drain you quietly while calling it love. And once you begin to see this, you will notice another sign, a more subtle one, more dangerous than exhaustion: division. Division never starts loud. It starts subtle, almost polite. It arrives disguised as concern, as advice you didn't ask for, as whispers framed as protection. I don't want to say anything, but just be careful with them. I could be wrong, but something feels off. These phrases sound harmless, even caring, but their purpose is precise. They are designed to fracture trust without taking responsibility for the damage. They don't accuse outright. They suggest, because suggestion bypasses logic and embeds itself directly into emotion. This is how manipulation avoids accountability. They never lie directly. They distort. A truth out of context, a story missing key details, a reaction exaggerated just enough to provoke doubt. And once doubt is planted, they step back. They let your mind do the rest. You start replaying conversations, questioning intentions, second-guessing people who once felt safe. And while you're busy trying to make sense of confusion they created, they quietly position themselves as the only one you can trust. This is how isolation begins, not through force, but through erosion. They don't push others away from you. They make you walk away on your own. And once your support system weakens, once clarity fades, once you feel alone in your thoughts, you become easier to influence. This is not coincidence, it's strategy. The most dangerous manipulators never raise conflict. They let chaos unfold while appearing innocent. They stir emotion, then disappear when the damage is done. And if you confront them, they deny, they minimize, they act hurt. I was just trying to help. You're misunderstanding me, Dime. I would never do that to you. Because their power depends on remaining unseen. Understand this clearly. Anyone who consistently brings division without resolution is not protecting you. They are positioning themselves between you and others. Isolation is not a side effect, it's the goal. Because when you're cut off from grounded voices, from people who challenge your thinking, from those who remind you who you are, your perception becomes fragile, and fragile perception is easy to control. You'll start trusting emotion over evidence, their narrative over reality, fear over discernment. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin carrying beliefs that were never yours. That is not conversation. That is psychological invasion. And it often comes from people who appear deeply loyal. They call themselves honest. They pride themselves on being real. But honesty that destroys clarity is not honesty. It's poison. Watch for patterns. Do they highlight flaws in others while avoiding their own? Do they always seem to be the common link in broken relationships? Do conflicts appear wherever they linger, yet they're never held responsible? That's not bad luck. That's orchestration. And when you start pulling away, when you regain clarity, you'll notice another shift. They don't celebrate your strength. They tolerate it. They are most alive when you are weakest. Some people are addicted to your brokenness. It makes them feel important, needed, superior. They show up instantly when you're struggling. They listen intensely when you're doubting yourself. They position themselves as your emotional anchor. But watch closely what happens when you begin to heal, when you set boundaries, when your confidence stabilizes, when you stop needing reassurance. Their energy changes. They become distant, critical, sarcastic. They joke about your growth, downplay your progress, call your discipline a phase, because your strength exposes their stagnation. As long as you're uncertain, they feel relevant. As long as you're dependent, they feel powerful. But when you stand on your own, they lose leverage, and leverage is what they value most. They don't love you for who you are becoming. They love you for who you were when you doubted yourself. They don't want you healed. They want you manageable. so they subtly discourage ambition, mock vision, frame self-respect as arrogance. Don't forget where you came from, not as grounding, but as a reminder to stay small. This is how control disguises itself as care. Real support does not shrink when you grow. Real love does not feel threatened by your progress. Anyone who feels more comfortable around your pain than your power is not aligned with your future. And then there are boundaries, the clearest exposure of all. When you say no, they don't listen. They negotiate, they guilt, they persist. You ask for space, they invade it. You set limits, they test them. This is not misunderstanding. It is entitlement. They believe access to you is a right. They feel offended when you protect your energy because your availability has always been their supply. And when boundaries appear, their behavior reveals their true motive. People who respect you don't argue with your limits. They adjust. People who benefit from exploiting you react with anger, withdrawal, or manipulation. You've changed. You're cold now? You don't care anymore? No, you've stopped leaking. Boundaries don't create distance. They reveal it. They expose who was only present for convenience. Your time is finite. Your attention is valuable. Your presence is earned. Anyone who treats your no as a challenge is not connected to you. They are trespassing. And trespasses do not belong in sacred spaces. Once you begin enforcing boundaries, another tactic emerges. Imitation. Imitation is never accidental. It is observation with intent. Some people don't just watch you. They study you, your language, your rhythm, your values, the way you move through the world. At first, it feels flattering. They repeat your phrases, adopt your interests, mirror your perspective. You think it's connection. You think it's chemistry. But admiration that erases originality is not respect. It's preparation. They are not inspired by you. They are trying to become you. Because they lack a core of their own. And once they've learned enough, once they've worn your identity long enough to make it believable, they turn quietly. They begin planting doubt about you in others, questioning your authenticity, rewriting your character. I don't know, they've changed. Something about them feels off now. They're not as genuine as they used to be. And the most twisted part is this. They use the version of you they copied as the standard, then position themselves as the real thing. You become the imitation. They become the original. This is not coincidence. It's replacement. They couldn't outgrow you, so they attempted to erase you. This is identity theft at a psychological level, a parasitic strategy rooted in envy. Because some spirits cannot create light. They can only steal it. And when theft isn't enough, they sabotage. Suddenly, people treat you differently. Support fades, trust weakens. You feel it, but you can't trace it directly. That's because the damage was done in whispers, not accusations. This is warfare without witnesses. And the only defense is authenticity. Remain grounded in who you are. Truth doesn't need validation. Counterfeits collapse over time. Now comes the final tether. Guilt, not love, not loyalty. Guilt, a weapon forged from your empathy. When you begin pulling away, when distance threatens their access, they remind you of everything they've done for you. After all I've sacrificed, after everything we've been through, how could you leave? They don't ask why you're hurting. They ask why you're choosing yourself. They frame your growth as betrayal, your boundaries as cruelty. And because you are compassionate, because you care deeply, you hesitate. You stay longer than you should. You explain when silence would suffice. You carry weight that was never yours. But guilt is not proof of love. It is proof of control. Real love does not trap, it releases. Anyone who uses your compassion to bind you is feeding, not loving. You are not responsible for saving people who refuse to heal. You are not obligated to bleed to prove loyalty. Staying where you are harmed is not virtue. It is self-abandonment. And your body knows it. That unexplained anxiety you feel around certain people is not irrational. Your chest tightens. Your thoughts scatter. Your energy collapses. Nothing overt happens. They smile. They speak kindly. But your nervous system reacts because your spirit recognizes what your mind is still denying. Peace doesn't require justification, and tension doesn't lie. Some energies are simply incompatible with your healing. And finally, the clearest sign of all reveals itself. Watch how people respond to your pain and how they respond to your progress. There are those who grow animated when you're broken, engaged, attentive. But when you rise, they fade. They mock your confidence, minimize your wins, call your growth arrogance. Your healing makes them uncomfortable because it removes their position over you. They were never meant to walk beside you. They were only comfortable standing above you. And once you refuse to stay small, they lose interest. That is not loss. That is liberation. Because real love does not laugh at your pain or mourn your strength. Real love expands with you. Some people were assigned to your past, not your future. And the moment you stop dragging them forward, your path clears. You do not need to expose anyone. You do not need to fight. Distance is enough. Silence is enough. Protection does not require explanation. Your peace is sacred. Your energy is finite. Your life depends on discernment. Not everyone who calls you family is safe. Not everyone who smiles is aligned. And walking away is not failure. It is survival. Protect your peace. Guard your energy. Endure quietly.